Then they throw it upstairs to the drink-wise score reviewers, who I don't think are drinking wise. They're drinking recklessly up there because they don't know what's going on.
Yes.
And then they look at the first three, which are the shittest angles in world sport.
Can I point out, you don't need any more angles except for that one exactly that we just watched.
And then they clear the review as a behind, and then 20 seconds later, we see the angle which clearly showed, this angle here, that it's missed by half a foot.
Now, the remarkable
Why
thing
don't they just
is,
show that one first?
The remarkable thing is that traditionally, and we were standing here at the same time watching and thinking, this will say, because those angles you speak of, umpire's call. So it's going to be behind. And then all of a sudden,
impossible to tell.
The umpire's call, which would have meant a behind, but they go with an actual behind. So not only did they make a mistake, they doubled down on the mistake that the goal umpire had made.
They did.
And this is where I sit on this. And this is a week after. Now, in the end, this didn't really matter to the result. Geelong were dominant, so we're not suggesting that any difference would have been made. But
it's three in a row.
You know what? If you're not making the mistakes when they don't matter, you sure as hell are not going to get it right when they do.
3 reviews in a row they've got wrong.
The Michael Walters one last week, which is a huge one considering the result at the end of the game. But this is where we need to sit. Because everyone continues to say, hey, you know what? What happens if this happened in a grand final? Well, it did happen in a grand final.
That's why they brought it in.
This is why we have it. Because
Why
Tom
they
Hawkins
brought it
in
in.
09 hit the post. Now, in front of 100,000 people, it would have been hard to make the call. The goal umpire was on the other side of the goals.
It nearly snapped
I get
the post.
Almost. It doesn't matter about... And you're right. If it's a one-point result, if it happened... What happened last week happens in a grand final, or hell will break loose, all right? But it's not just about a grand final, because as a sport, we need to make sure we get this correct. Because it's actually people's jobs and lives that are on the line every single time there's a mistake.
Well, lives is a bit of a stretch.
Okay. You know what?
No one's died from an incorrect score review just yet.
No, you're right. No, you're right. Take that back slightly. But it does impact their lives, because coaches and players hold on to a job or get
Livelihoods,
re-extended
maybe.
or get
Livelihoods.
contracted on a win-loss.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, if the mistake's being made and it means teams lose compared to winning, if they win 3 games compared to 6 or 7, that might actually make a difference to what it means to an extension of a contract for a player or a coach. So while it might be, right, a tad dramatic and probably use the words wrong around lives, it does actually matter every single time there's a mistake in close games, because it actually leads to the crafting of what might mean to a player or a coach remaining at the club or remaining employed as a professional footballer. And while we sit here and we continue to talk about how do we get this right, a couple of ways. And this is not just because I work for one of the broadcasters. The AFL can't continue to say it's on the broadcasters to have the angles.
Yeah, it's not
the
our
AFL,
fault.
tip in $1 million, whatever it's going to cost, if you want to get this right and make sure every single goal post, every single angle, at every single ground in the country where AFL games are held has the exact same technology so mistakes aren't made. And rather than worrying about a logo or worrying about who won a flag in 1897 and saying, oh, let's do this, let's do that, why don't they get it right or just scrap the whole damn thing? Because it's embarrassing for the league and it's frustrating for the participants.